Hello everyone! I finally got some time to sit down and create another Valentine card. And for today's card, I'm using the new CC Designs. This is the angel wings image. And I trimmed it out and put it on my acrylic block, and then I'm inking it up with my favorite things, black licorice hybrid ink, and then stamping it onto CC Designs Copic Quality, 110-pound cardstock. And then they've started releasing some coordinating dies for some of their images. So since this is an open die, it's actually just super simple to use. I just lined it up around the image, and then I just tape it into place with Scotch tape. Yeah, they've got a video on their channel, like on their website, showing how to like line up the dies with images, since these are rubber stamps and you can't see through them, different things. I don't know. This is how I do it. It just works. So I used the tape to hold it in place and then just ran it through my Big Shot to die cut it. So it just saved me the time of fussy cutting, which is what I love. So once it's die cut, I'm going to color it with Copic markers. And as always, I've super sped up the coloring because I didn't do anything super fantastic. I just started with her skin and my go-to skin color combo, which is the E50, E21, E13. Working lightest to darkest, and then I blend out the darkest with the medium, which is the E21, and then I blend it all together with the E50. So super, super simple. These are the markers that I refill the most, that's for sure. I have some, like, people ask me sometimes, like, oh, how often do you refill this, that, and the other thing? Ones like this that I use, like this color combo that I use all the time, I have probably gone through my E50, especially because that's the one I use obviously the most. I've probably used up over half a refill, but then I've had my Copic markers for 8 years, I think. I'm not even sure how long I've had them, but probably a good 8 years. And some of them I haven't ever needed to refill. So yeah, it is what it is. So anywho, once I was done coloring her skin, her hair, I wanted it to look like kind of really pale blonde. So I just used Y00, Y21, Y32 and barely just quickly slapped on some color. Super simple, nothing too fancy. And then the hearts, I'm trying to kind of match the colors on the pattern paper I'm using. So I use 3 different little color combos for each of the hearts. And then for her dress, I wanted it to be white, but I didn't want to just leave it bare. So you can do any sort of combo if you wanted. You could do, a pale gray or a pale blue. I used a pale blue on the wings, like BG quadruple or 000. But for a dress, I thought it'd be cute with a really slight tinge of pink. So that's why I used RV00 and then the quadruple 0 and then a little bit of 0. And so it's white, but it's just got a little hint of pink to it. So when I was done that, the pattern paper is from the Doodlebug Love Bug 6x6 pack, which I've used already in at least 1 or 2 videos. And it's shown in a haul video, and anyone who knows me knows I love Doodlebug papers. They're just so cute. So I die cut the heart pattern paper with the By Design Nesting Tickets dies. And once I did that, I just had some red cardstock in my stash and pulled that out and then used my anti-static powder tool on it. That just helps kind of keep the embossing powder from sticking to absolutely everything. And then the sentiment is from my Elegant Valentine set, and I used my stamp positioner so that I can get it stamped perfectly straight along the bottom of this scrap of cardstock here. And I stamped it with some Sweet Tooth pigment ink, and then I'm going to emboss it with Detail white embossing powder. So that's where the anti-static tool comes in handy, especially with detail powder, because it's such a fine granule that it wants to cling to everything. So got that stamped, made sure my heat gun was good and hot before I brought it to the cardstock to melt the embossing powder. And then once it cooled off after a few seconds, I just used my fingers to rub away any of the powder residue. And then line this up in my paper trimmer to trim off. That is one thing I'm really loving about this paper trimmer, is it's got that wire guide right in the middle of the cut line, so you can see before you even cut exactly where you will cut. So I wish I hadn't held off so many years on getting this paper trimmer, because I absolutely love it. And I'm still using the same blade. They have 2 types of blades. They have like just the regular blades, or they have the titanium blades, which are way more expensive, like holy. But there is a big difference. I have had this for months now and I haven't switched the blades yet, and it's still working really well. I'm very impressed because with my old Fiskars trimmer, I went through the cutting blades all the time, like ridiculous amounts. And these titanium blades are really holding up. So I don't know. I'm hoping it continues that way because yeah, they're so expensive. I really don't want to have to be buying new blades all the time. So anywho, another sidetrack. Once I decided on, got the papers laid out on my card, I've got some AmyR's polka dot sheer ribbon that the color, of course, goes really well with this pattern paper. So I wrapped it around my card front and tied it in a bow and then trimmed off the ends with my scissors. And then I'm literally at the very end of this Scotch ATG, or not ATG, Scotch foam tape, you know, the Precious. Anyone who watches Sandy Elnock's videos knows what I'm talking about. That's where I picked up that term from her, and it's totally true. It is the Precious. But yeah, you can see I have about not even 6 inches left of this roll, and then that'll be my very first roll officially used up, and I used it a ton. So I already have my backup. I'm good. So adhered the little die cut angel with the foam tape, and then I just adhered the sentiment, and then I had these little doodlebug patterned heart enamel stickers, so I added just one of those because I thought it went nicely with the sentiment. And then finally, for the inside of the card, I just trimmed down some leftover pattern paper from the front, and then I've got another sentiment from my elegant Valentine set, and I'm using the stamp positioner again. And I just had the pattern paper, I just held it in place to kind of give me an idea of where I wanted to place the sentiment. I didn't want to adhere the pattern paper down just yet, because as I've shown in previous videos, I tend to sometimes mess up. And so I was kind of pre-thinking ahead that, oh, if I mess up the sentiment, I'll adhere the pattern paper over it. So, of course, this time it worked just fine. So stamp the sentiment with the same black licorice hybrid ink, and then use my ATG to get the adhesive on the back of these two pattern papers, and then I just lined the bottom of the inside of the card with the pattern paper. And of course I wasn't done right then. I wanted to add a little bit more embellishment to the main image of this card. So I decided to pull out my clear Wink of Stella pen, and I just painted it over the hearts, and then I started painting over her hair and adding a bit to her wings and just kind of went nuts with it. But that's a nice thing with Wink of Stella. It's not like glitter overload. It's just a nice shimmer. So pretty. Absolutely love it. And yeah, as always, I will post a link below the video that will have links to all the supplies used, as well as a link to my blog post, so you can check that out if you are interested in any of that sort of stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping my videos, and I will see you all next time. Bye!